I want, not care.
Right at the beginning, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. We are live. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to episode 71 of the Get Shit Done Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tellman Knudsen. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Rory Stern.
Tellman, what's up? Good morning, buddy.
Are you feeling stern today, Rory?
No, I'm feeling fabulous.
There's a piece of hair, a little piece of white hair. It's gone now. It was on my camera. Let's see. Positive focus, dude. Spring is, I do love the winter, but spring is coming. It's starting to warm up. It got up to 60 degrees yesterday. It's definitely in the air. So spring is coming. Last night I went to my daughter's band performance. It was an all district school performance. She plays stand-up percussion, the big round drum.
Nice.
And you would appreciate that there was like 170 band students involved in this thing, and the only time that they practiced together was earlier in the day. Earlier that day, they practice individually. They bring everybody together, and then I'll tell you what, they banged this thing out in the gym. In 35 minutes, they played 5 separate songs, did transitions between middle schools, elementary schools, high schools, and the grand finale was Star Wars. The Star Wars, bum 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 bum.
Yeah. So what it sounds like to me is they know how to get shit done.
No, it's impressive because I remember suffering through so many assemblies. And it was so painful. I know then when you're younger, time passes slower. I do get this, but it was just snappy. There was no screwing around.
That's awesome.
The people that organized this particular music event, they had their shit together, and so it was a great performance. It energy. It was less than an hour, in and out. It was awesome.
That's awesome. I will take this moment to go on a tangent. So I think that's how things should get done at the professional level. Like, school is a professional level, right? Like, it's run by adults who have degrees and this is their career. I always find
yeah, but it's also run by adults who are extremely underpaid.
Of course.
And largely constantly being disrespected by the students and the parents. I hear you.
Of course, but hear me out. The reason I'm stealing this for a second and going in a certain direction is I like the precision of how that's done. Yeah. The circumstances be damned, it was still precise, right?
Yeah.
What I like, or what frustrates me that reminded me of this. So my kids lately have a tough time getting up and getting out the door on time. Okay. And
there are phases, and then some kids are just like that, and so some people are like that, and some aren't.
Yeah. So my wife occasionally will remind them, if you get a certain number of tardies, you're going to get lunch detention.
And how old are your kids, Roy?
So the two I'm talking about are 17 and 14. And I just look at her and I let her say that stuff and take the kids to school. But we talk about this and I go, if they try to give my children lunch detention for being late, I'm going to go in and book an appointment because, as an example, my youngest, the 14-year-old, got accepted into National Honor Society. So they had this big to-do in the gymnasium. And, I went and I wanted to support my daughter. It started at a certain time. Did it start on time, Tellman?
No. I would suspect it probably did not start on time.
It did not start on time. In fact, it started 15 to 20 minutes late, which, I'm sorry. I'm a busy guy. I'm an entrepreneur. My time is very, very valuable to me.
Yeah.
Either fucking start on time or I'm going to give you a tardy and you're going to sit and do lunch detention. That shit irks me.
Is this you blowing off steam from me being tardy this morning to the Get Shit Done show?
No, not at all. That's actually, that's funny. Dude, that is so hilarious. No, I didn't even think about that because it's kind of funny. It worked out fairly well. As I texted you this morning, I had to take my daughter to work to be there by 9.
Hold on.
So
Is this wait, how many kids do you have?
3.
See, I always get confused. I guess I didn't realize you had 3 kids.
I have 3 kids.
I was like, how are you taking your daughter to work and to school at the same time? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, this is my 19-year-old. She had to be there at 9. And I was, I texted you, Tellman, I'm going to be a few minutes late. And, so again, we're opening up the kimono, so to speak here.
That's right.
I texted you, hey, Tellman, I'm going to be a few minutes late. The cool thing is I know Tellman, I know how this show runs. I don't know that we've ever started right at 9 o'clock. So I knew I had a little bit of grace period.
Only a few times, and it's like I whatever. I mean,
no, dude, it's cool, right? Like this is a casual show on Facebook, right? So so I knew I had a few minutes grace. Now the funny thing is, I knew this was going to happen, dude. I knew you were going to be later than normal because my daughter works 2 buildings over from a Chick-fil-A, and I love Chick-fil-A breakfast.
Okay.
So I was like, I wonder if I could drop her off and then go get a breakfast sandwich and make it home in time for the show. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I'm already going to be running late. And I have these conversations in my head because when I want good advice, I go up here. I said, I know for a fact I'm going to get home and I could have been able to go to Chick-fil-A. And sure enough, I pull in the garage, park the car. It's like 9:01, and I get a text from Tellman. I'm running a few minutes late, and I'm like, "Damn it, there it is! I could have gotten my Chick-fil-A breakfast.
Should have followed the Chick-fil-A intuition, Rory."
No, it's all right because
Okay.
ultimately it worked out because ultimately I was able to come home, make a fresh cup of coffee. I put some toast in, so I'm powered up and ready to go.
Probably healthier than a Chick-fil-A breakfast.
Absolutely right. So much healthier. So yeah. So again, all of this to say, I like getting shit done. I like things on time, but yes, obviously things do happen and tangent and whatnot. And no, I'm not upset that you were late.
But this is also part of the topic. I mean, the topic of today is we talked to, I used the title of to plan or not to plan. That is the question. And is what's more important, right? Spontaneity or planning ahead? And the answer is they're both important. Yep. And different people use them in different amounts and different frequencies. There are certain types of things that I'm like anal retentive about thinking ahead on and planning on and go into like obsessive compulsive detail on.
Yep.
And most things I prefer to wing it.
Yes.
And I know that I'm on the I'm still functional, but on the extremer side. Like I'm on the extremer side of that for a functional human being.
Mm-hmm.
Of wanting to be more spontaneous, wanting to wing it seemingly all the time. The good news is that as I'm aging, as I'm getting older, as I'm getting more mature, I'm getting more consistent and routine oriented in my schedule. And that's actually creating kind of a foundation. But doing everything last minute doesn't work for everybody. And so Rory, do you prefer? Wait, did you do your positive focus?
No, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Keep going.
Do you prefer, generally speaking, do you prefer to plan ahead or do you prefer to wing it? Just in life.
It's not an either or. It is a balance, right? For certain things, I like to plan. For other things, I like to wing it. So for instance, when I had my agency and we were a team of 24, if I said, hey, we're having a 9 a.m. Eastern meeting, I want people there at 9, not 9:01, not 9:02, not 9:05.
Yeah, like show up a few minutes early, so
exactly.
Right?
It's like you're reading my mind. My parents always taught me from a very early age. What is it? If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, you're fucked.
See, so it's funny because though my dad absolutely operates that way.
Yep.
Like it's a core part of his being. It never rubbed off on me. Like I've had to put an enormous amount of effort into not like I used to always be 5 minutes late.
Yep.
And now I'm occasionally 5 minutes late, but it's still my tendency for whatever reason is certainly not to show up early. And I have enormous internal resistance to like, I do all sorts of silly little things that cause me to not be on time for certain types of things. Now it used to be everything in my life. Now it's certain types of things I give a little bit too much slack to. I notice.
It's very interesting. So we're going to go on a couple tangents here. So everybody strap in, put your helmets on, because it's going to be a wild ride.
So wild.
Yeah. Right? So it's funny you mentioned, your father and then your tendencies. My father was a military man, up at 5 o'clock in the morning, very, very regimented, very undiagnosed ADD. That man cannot sit still. That man plans everything. Like I'll be like, hey, Dad, you want to go to breakfast on, March 14th? And he'll be texting me 2 weeks out. What time are we going? Who's driving? And it's like, oh my God, dude, we'll get there. So again, like balance, right? So my dad, very, very regimented, very old school. I'm very regimented. I'm an early riser. I try to get shit done in the morning, although that's changing of late, which is interesting. My son, Tellman, if I had to say anything, it's the difference between what you described, your dad and you, is my son and I. My son really needs a lot of external motivation. And I'm not saying you need external motivation. I'm just talking freely now that he needs external motivation. He's not necessarily an early riser. If given the opportunity, and in fact, certainly younger years, the minute school vacation happens or summer, he stays up all night, goes to bed at like 9 a.m. and then wakes up at 6 in the evening.
Right.
I hate that. I can't stand that.
My son is like that. I was never like that. I always got up pretty early, like very light sleeper, kind of eyes open, and I'm out of bed in 15 seconds, you know, and that generally is still the case.
Yeah. So now what's fascinating, the reason I said strap your helmet on, this is going to be interesting, is so let's say, for instance, I'm a big Disney fan. I love going to Disney, and for whatever reason, I'll say, all right, guys, I want to leave at like 9 o'clock.
Right.
If we don't leave right at 9, I start to get agitated. And I don't know why, because it's so arbitrary. It's not like it's not like there's anywhere we have to be. It's just weird. Like, 9:01, 9:02, okay, but like 9:05, 9:06, 9:15, I start to get like really like come on, we need to go.
Right,
like,
let's get a move on. Stop screwing around, guys.
And so some of that too is the fact of, you asked me, Rory, are you a planner or are you spontaneous? And it's fluid, right? Like I like to be spontaneous. So if I get in the mood to go to the grocery store, I'll be like, I'm going to run to the store. If my wife is going to go, or I say, hey, honey, come with me. Well, I'm not dressed. I need to do my hair. It's like, fuck it. I'm just going. I don't have time for this shit. Same thing with my kids. Oh, Dad, can I go? And it's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Spontaneity. And they're like, well, I need 10 minutes to get dressed and put my makeup on. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going myself. I don't have time for this shit. But again, even though it's so arbitrary. Now, the funny thing about all of this, again, me being a planner, attention to detail when it matters. Lacey and I went to Hawaii in, I think it was October, November of 2001. And the reason that's relevant is it was right after 9/11. And we went to, have you ever seen the movie 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore?
I mean, I remember it exists, but I never watched it.
All right, never mind. So anyway, we go to this water park in Hawaii. It's from, it's in the movie. And we have an appointment to swim with the dolphins.
Great.
And we get out the door, we're driving to the park, and all of a sudden Lacey realizes we don't have any, I think it was, we didn't have any tapes for the camcorder. And this was, I was like,
tapes that is a while back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a while back. Right. So
tapes for the camcorder.
So we're driving, and she goes, shit, we don't have any, we don't have any, tapes for the camcorder. And I pick up my phone, and I'm looking at, is there anything nearby that will sell camera tapes?
Like VHS?
Yeah. Well, not VHS at this point. It
was
no.
One of the smaller ones. Yeah. Like the magnetic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I found a Costco.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck it, we're stopping. And she's like, no, we're gonna be late. We have to be on time. And I'm like, listen, we're gonna be on time. Because it was something like, I think our time to swim with the dolphins was at like 10 or 11, and we were told to be there by 9.
Right.
And I'm like, Lacey, we don't have to be there at 9. She said, oh, yes, they will. They'll cut us out of the group. They won't let us come. I'm like, Lacey, trust me. It's all part of orientation, and they build all this shit in for tourists. I promise.
Right.
So we pull off the road. We go to Costco. I get in there. They didn't want to sell us the tapes because we weren't members. I'm like, listen, I'll pay for a fucking membership. Like, just give me the damn tapes. Like, I don't care what you need to charge me.
We need to get this moving. Yeah, right.
Because at this point, I've invested thousands of dollars in air travel, hotel, this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
So what's an extra couple $100?
Right.
And meanwhile, so I'm trying to figure this out and get shit done. And she's yelling at me, and I get in the car. She's like, we're going to be late. We're going to be so late. We're going to be so fucking late. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Calm down, Lacey. Calm down. We get there, and it was 5 minutes of sign in, show your ID. Here's the paperwork. All right, come back in an hour. Go walk around the park. Like, see, Lacey?
You were right, Rory. You can feel good about being right.
Well, it's not, this isn't about being right or wrong. I don't give a fuck about being right or wrong. It's a fun little story of sometimes sometimes things are planned. Sometimes shit is spontaneity. Sometimes shit goes sideways, and you got to do what you got to do. And, I don't know. I like stories.
I don't know if it's like ADD or early childhood trauma or what, but it's not as much as it was when I was much younger.
Yep.
As I get older, this becomes less of an issue, but I need the adrenaline. Like I need the adrenaline of having to, I feel like I do. I feel like I like the adrenaline. It brings my mind, emergencies bring my mind into focus. They're the only time I actually feel calm is when like everything's blowing up around me and I kind of need to observe it all and find a path through. And like, for me, that's my favorite place to be. Unfortunately, for running a business with any kind of consistent long-term, profit growth, that's not, and you don't want to be constantly causing all sorts of explosions to be happening all around you.
Yeah. So that's fascinating that you bring that up. That is very much an ADD trait or ADHD trait. Right. 100%.
Right.
I absolutely, especially as a kid growing up, I absolutely performed best and thrived best with my back up against the wall.
Right.
I did build in strategies. My parents were really good at, building in strategies into my life that didn't happen all the time. So I was able to get shit done, but it's a noticeable difference in my productivity when I've got some time versus when there's no time. Like I just thrive in that chaos as well. Right. What's fascinating about that though is, with everything, and this came up earlier in another episode, Tellman, is everything comes down to, do these habits or behaviors or tendencies get you in trouble, or do they just work? Right. And I think it was, we were talking about the addictions with my caps, the fact that I have 131 of these. Like, yeah, it's an addiction. It's cost me a lot of money, but does it prevent me from paying the bills?
It's not an addiction, Rory.
No.
It's definitely a mid-level habit. It's a mid-level expensive habit.
Whatever you want to call it. The point is, like, the point that I'm trying to make, like, if you want, we can go all diagnostic and get clinical. Like, ADHD exists on a spectrum in the world.
Yeah.
And for it to be a true diagnosis, there's one line in the DSM-4, the diagnostic manual, that literally says the symptoms must negatively affect the person's life.
Okay.
So there are very high functioning people with ADHD who don't meet the criteria for the diagnosis because it doesn't interfere with their life in a negative way.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, there was a bigger point I wanted to make that we've lost now. Oh yeah, no, I know what it is. The adrenaline isn't necessarily just about getting shit done. I also like let's say, for instance, with the caps, let's say there's a limited drop and it's going to sell out in 5 minutes. There's a lot of fun to that buildup of sitting by the keyboard and waiting for it to drop and getting it in the shopping cart. Pokemon cards. I think I told you my daughter is big into Pokemon cards. They're very high in demand. They're very hard to get. So I've activated that system in my brain now where it's like, it's that adrenaline rush, that dopamine hit where it's like, all right, there's a drop in 5 minutes. I've got to get it. I've only got 30 seconds to cart. So it depends where it shows up, how it shows up is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's one reason I don't ever go to casinos and I don't ever gamble. Because I'm just not willing to lose everything I hold dear as a result of getting hooked into it. Because I'd probably be really good at it.
No. That's fascinating. I have never once, while in a casino, put any money down on any table. I have never put any coins into a machine. Nothing.
Yeah, me either.
I refuse to, because I know my personality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same reason I've never tried any hard drugs.
Correct.
Like I've really wanted to a bunch of times, but I'm just like, I got kids. Like I know how off the deep end I go when I really get into something, and so no gambling and no hard drugs for me. Like I'm not willing to even consider that. That it's interesting. So, for example, I don't know if this is true, but this is the way I feel. Which is with reading video sales letters, for example. Like I've read hundreds of keynotes to create video sales letters, and I think that when I read them more than once, that the second, third, fourth reading never out converts the first. I believe that at least we've tested it a couple of times, and the first take always has won in the past. But I don't even read the video first. I present it and read it aloud the first time I'm reading the script, so that I'm not reading a script. Right. So that it's not rehearsed. And for some reason, I feel more in my element. I feel more present. I feel more alive if I'm delivering something for the first time than I do if it's rehearsed. The only thing I really do like about speaking from stage is the anxiety beforehand. Like,
you do like that? You like that anxiety?
Yeah, because it creates total clarity. Like, it's like I wake up naturally at 7 a.m. that morning in the hotel. Like, my clothes, it creates a level of like having that pressure to perform creates a level of focus and kind of calm for me, where all of my other distracted thoughts about 10 billion other bullshit things are gone completely when I'm under pressure. And so, but the thing is, I don't get any lift from the audience when I speak publicly. Like it doesn't fill up my energy store. It like drains me. So that's why I don't really speak publicly too much. Is it doesn't energize me.
Interesting.
But webinars, like doing a live webinar performance, or even what we're doing right now, right? I really like showing up without a net and having to figure it out as we go, even if it means being a little anxious, being unprepared, and being last minute. Like I like freestyling it. But to that point, there are a lot of good things about planning ahead. And in terms of doing a show, if we're doing an interview show, planning ahead means getting our interview guests lined up, getting them slotted in, and have some idea what we're talking about. And that takes consistent activity every day to get all those guests lined up, get all the details organized. And I tend to fall down in that area.
Yep.
Right. So I compensate by going very last minute. But what do you want to do here? Do you want to like plan out a few weeks of shows, or do you want to talk about what things are going to be looking like for the next, I don't know, couple of months in terms of what our intentions are with the show, or what are your thoughts?
So yeah, that was something I had suggested, right? Was let's talk today, not specifically about what do we want to do, but use this as a case study, if you will, or an example of spontaneity versus planning. Go ahead.
Oh, I something interesting on that topic is we go live every day, and this is episode 71. And there have been many episodes where I've been like, hey guys, do you want to be a special guest on the show? Let me know in the comments below. Send me a DM. Crickets. Yeah. And with Facebook changed their API 6 months ago, so we can't beam this directly into a Facebook group anymore. And so I can't beam this episode real time into the Get Shit Done group. I can share it after the fact. And so what I did was instead of using StreamYard, I used my iPhone, and I just did a Facebook Live directly inside the Get Shit Done group, which has like 450 members or something. Mm-hmm. And it's relatively inactive, ironically enough. And we just built it. It was super active at the beginning, and then it just kind of, petered out a little bit. So I did this Facebook Live that was less than a minute long. I was like, hey, who wants to be a special guest on the show where we do this type of interview, or this type of episode, and this type of episode, and this episode. And I got 3 people who raised their hand, said that they would love to be on the show. So interestingly, I used a little spontaneity and doing things differently in order to plan ahead.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this is why I said, let's talk about this, right? Because I believe in spontaneity, but I also believe that in business, sometimes in life, but we're talking about business and getting shit done. There are benefits to planning ahead.
Right.
So one thing I was always taught by my parents, and I take this everywhere I go in life, is, kind of the principle of why put off what you can get done today for another day. And that line of thinking was,
do it now.
Well, yeah, like do it, like, but like, it wasn't just do it now. I mean, yes, that's the lesson. But like, for instance, in middle school, I had a very, very good friend who had season tickets to all the big sporting events in town.
Okay.
And basically the family had tickets, and they would always bring a friend. So I could be on deck to go to a Buffalo Bills game at a moment's notice. So my parents were like, hey, it's Friday. Get your work done today, or make sure you get it done Saturday morning in case Mark calls and he wants to take you to the Bills game on Sunday. Because let's face it, there's nothing worse than saying, oh, I'll just get it done when I need to get it done. Then your friend calls you up on Sunday and is like, hey, you want to go to the Bills game with me? No, I've got homework to do.
Right.
So get it done. That was the mentality. Work-wise, years ago, I used to do a print newsletter. In fact, I had 2 different print newsletters for 2 different businesses. And invariably, the plan was, let's get a couple issues done ahead of time. But life never got that way.
Right.
So what ended up happening is I would sit down a full 24 hours before the print deadline.
Right. Classic.
And knock out the issue. Now,
Deadlines move mountains, baby.
I could do it, but it was annoying. It was really fucking annoying because then I'm literally like for 24 hours, I am locked in my office,
right,
rushing to get shit done, which again, I got it done every time, but
it gets to be a grind after a while.
Well, it gets to be a grind, but then it also doesn't allow for when shit comes up, because invariably shit's going to come up. When I launched Brutally Honest Ad Reviews, part of the reason why it took me so long to actually go live with promoting that newsletter, that email list, I was pre-recording videos. I have 45 episodes.
Right.
Pre-recorded, fully produced, ready to go.
Okay.
In fact, part of the plan.
Hold on. Let me just stop. Why? Why the hell did you do that?
Why not?
Dude, because you could have put that time into making a better sales letter. That's why not.
But I got the content done, which is what I needed. I needed that content done so it's ready to go.
Is that well? So see that I'm glad you got it done, and it's probably awesome. But but like it's a really bad example, I think.
I don't think so, but I'm glad you do, because now we have something to talk about.
No, but here's why and I guess it comes back down to the same tendency. Maybe this is just an opinion, but I have found that most things don't sell well.
Correct.
Most products don't sell well. Most sales letters don't convert. Most funnels aren't home runs.
Correct.
And that creating your content for your product first, in my opinion, for most people, is a procrastination mechanism to prevent you from launching and getting rejected.
Could be.
The fear of that. And B is, even if it is great content, like, why wouldn't you create that live with your people and then use that content, the live created content, as your pre-recorded, so that you can spend the time building the marketing funnel and improving the marketing system to make sure it sells well before you put I don't know how long your videos are, but before you put 45 hours of effort into creating.
It's not 40. It's definitely
whatever, 20 hours, whatever it is.
They're 5 to 6 minutes in length. I usually knock out like 5 a day. Well, I don't anymore because they're ready to go.
They're 5 to 6 minutes in length, so they don't even make sense to create with a live audience.
No, yeah. This isn't Kurt's 3-hour workshop. And I want to bring something else up, because this is really important. So you said, most funnels don't work, most products don't sell, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I'm not selling this. These are free videos. This is to a free email list with the sole purpose of building know, like, and trust. Now, there's a couple components here. I do want to acknowledge that you're right. Putting 45 anything into something that you haven't proven or sold yet is not necessarily the best plan. And I agree with that. So for instance, when I launched my course, my paid advertising secrets, I threw up a post on Facebook. Hey, would anyone be interested if I did this? They said yes.
Right. So you already tested the market.
Well, it's not, it's two separate things, right? Hold on. So with my $2,000 course, I pre-sold it at $1,000 to a small group of people, and I'm creating it live.
Right.
Okay. So I do agree with that. I do think that it's important, get your sales letter done, get proof of concept, create on the fly. I've made lots of money that way. This was a little bit different in that this is a long game, right? So first off, there's no money involved from the consumer's end. This is my time, my money, my effort, my energy, because I'm spending money on ads to bring people into my world to get to know, like, and trust me. Yes, there are yes, there is a limited time offer, a low ticket offer, whatever you want to call it. There are upsells and such. That will come in time. Like there was an intention for doing this the way that I did it. Okay. So there's two sides to it, right? So again, I agree with you. There is a time and place to pre-sell and focus on the sales letter. There's also times where it's like, let's get this in the bag, because there's a couple things here. Number one, being a full-time direct response marketer for 18 years, 12 of those years totally in paid ads, I knew this was going to be a hit. And it is. It's going very, very well. My cost per lead is awesome. My email open rates are great. The click-through rates are very decent. I'm getting what I want out of it. I'm building an email list of very, very targeted people.
Out of curiosity, Rory,
yep.
What did you build it on?
ClickFunnels, the original.
And what are you using for your autoresponder? For email?
Aweber.
Good old fashioned. All right, cool.
Dude, I've always through the years, always come back to Aweber. Always.
Interesting. All right. Cool.
Yep. So it's fascinating. The more I show up with this angle of brutally honest ad reviews, the more outspoken I am, the more talk there is. And I can't remember if we talked about this on a show or whether we talked about this privately. There's more activity happening around me, more people reaching out. Hey, Rory, can we talk about this? Hey, Rory, can we talk about that? Hey, Rory, what's your consulting look like? What's it cost? It's doing what I want. What it's not doing, which I fully anticipated, I'm not getting a great conversion rate on my free opt-in to my low ticket offer. And I knew going into this that was going to be a challenge. I mean, we may have even talked about this. Alan Sultanic even wrote a post about this a couple of weeks ago saying one of the worst things you can do is build a free email newsletter in front of an offer. Just go straight for building a buyer's list, which I do agree. And based on the data that I'm getting right now, I'm going to build that out as well too. I'm going to build out basically an AC funnel of my low ticket product, except I'm going to use Frank Kern's converted book sales letter instead of the AC funnel for multiple reasons. So I think, again, it all comes down to what's your plan, what's your goal, what's your outcome that you want, and I'm getting my desired outcome.
Cool.
Well,
cool. Well, rock and roll. I think that's great. Yeah, I definitely jumped to some conclusions about what was going on instead of asking you questions on that.
Well, I mean, it's fair. I like that. I got to be honest, Tellman. I do like that self-reflection in the moment from you saying, I guess I made some assumptions.
I totally did. Yeah, when you said I created 45 videos, I assumed you were talking about the product you were selling and that you pre-made the product. And it's like people get stuck in that shit for years, literally, and then never launch, and so
and so here's the funny thing, the irony of it all, right? Which again allows you to assume versus asking questions. It wasn't that long ago I told you about this idea that I was building this newsletter, and you're like, Rory, shut up, like stop. You told me about this 3 years ago. Are you actually going to do it this time? Why? Right? We went through all of that.
Totally.
And I actually had told you, hey, Tellman, no, I'm actually doing it. Like I'm actually in the process of setting up the funnel and everything. So it's fair to assume, and it makes sense, and it makes for great conversation. So fuck it, do it live.
There's another thing that's pretty rad about planning ahead that I just realized moments ago, and that I've started realizing more and more, is that if you don't like planning ahead, like me, you don't have to, because what I just did while you were chatting, Rory, even though I've given you shit about doing the same thing, is I went on ChatGPT and I asked it to plan out the next 90 days of episodes for us.
Yeah.
And because even going through the process of planning and the detail of it, like I feel my prefrontal cortex shut down. Like the world goes numb. The detail oriented planning, it's hard for me. And so check it out. Week number 1, mindset and productivity hacks, episode 72, the productivity myth, why working harder isn't the answer and what is. 73, the power of tiny wins. 74, procrastination killers. 75, the science of focus. 76, how to break free from overwhelm and indecision. Week 2, money and business growth. Episode 77, the 10K per month blueprint.
Yeah. So let me interrupt you because this is fantastic. So I had done something similar a couple weeks ago. Okay. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm co-hosting this show. It's on this topic. Give me some ideas, give me some themes, et cetera, et cetera. I love that yours went, you went deeper, 90 days.
Well, I asked for more detail.
Well, exactly, right? It's based on the prompt. So here's the beautiful thing happening live as so it would be. First off, I did message Laura Lee at the beginning of the show, like you asked. And yes, right. and I've been messaging back and forth with her a little bit. Right. Hey, Rory, what are we going to talk about? So she will be here tomorrow with us from 9 to 10. She does have to leave at 10 o'clock.
Cool.
So let's try to be, on time and diligent. Yep. So the reason I'm bringing this up is the beautiful thing about planning is like, you've already got a topic for tomorrow's show, but guess what?
I have a top for 90 days. Yeah.
well, correct. But my point is like, you have a topic for tomorrow, but now that I've gotten us a guest, you can push that topic.
Totally.
So now we're never scrambling, right? We have this idea pool.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to talk about too is like, you said, I forget what words you used, but like you felt like something in the, like a pit in your stomach when you started to type out into ChatGPT and plan, like you're averse to it. And you said something to the effect of, you know what? If you don't like the plan, you don't have to.
Right.
Well, guess what? We got Joshua B. Lee to be a guest on our show 2 weeks from now because I went and got him, and you don't have to do that, right? And and again, for transparency and to come full circle, I've been in this role with you before. I used to reach out to our affiliates. We had an affiliate manager. You had an affiliate manager, for crying out loud, to help out and supplement. Sometimes I would reach out to our affiliates. Right. You didn't have to talk to them. What did you do? You showed up and on camera and interviewed them. And so no, you don't have to plan. And to give a more concrete example, tie everything together, ADHD, planning, not planning. Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Is it a disorder? Is it not a disorder? In my clinical days, the office the office where I was in private practice, the psychiatrist was internationally renowned. And so she got access to a new software program, a diagnostic tool, if you will, through one of the pharmaceutical companies, blah, 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 blah. And we had to test it. So she brought in a couple people that she's known her whole life. And I'm sitting in this room, and this former high power executive, like C-suite level businesswoman, was recently let go from her job. And she was talking about how, as a result of that, everything around her was crumbling. And she'd never felt more ADD in her life, as if it was a bad thing.
Right.
And as I sat there and took it all in as an observer, we started connecting the dots. She may or may not have ADHD. The reason she felt like her world was falling apart is that she went from being a C-suite executive with 4 different personal assistants,
right,
to now a person of 1.
Right.
So I don't care who you are. Right. And this ties into you, right? Like,
totally.
If you're used to working with a team around you that does all of the shit that you don't want to do, life's going to be very, very fucking hard.
Totally.
And, for instance, this can play out in so many different roles. Like I've told my wife, once I hit a certain point in business, certainly financially, I want to have a chef in the house.
Right.
I want to have someone come and clean the house every day. And she's like, no, those are my jobs. And I'm like, but they don't have to be.
Right.
You don't have to cook all the meals. You don't have to clean all the dishes. You don't have to clean the house. It's okay for other people to, well, what am I going to do? I don't care. Go sit by the pool, fucking tan, have a cocktail, paint your toenail, like do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, I mean, does she want to do those things, or would she rather have somebody else do them?
Well, I knew you'd bring that up. So no, she wants to do those things, of course.
Okay, well then.
Well, but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is like you delegate and outsource things that you're not great at. You don't have to learn to do them all. So you Tellman don't ever have to be a planner.
So this is where I currently disagree with you.
Fucking great. Go for it.
So we have a comment here. What does someone have to say? Wow. All I got is a little square. I got a little Arden tunes in. We were going to have him on the show, but it didn't happen yet. I don't know whether that is some kind of emoji you're sending us or what, Arden, but all I got is a rectangle. Hope you're having an awesome morning.
Arden sent the hand salute emoji.
Okay. Well, hand salute it is. So I got too good at delegating too fast out of necessity, and there was all sorts of stuff that I didn't want to do, and I avoided it. And here's what happened to me: is I devalued those tasks, and I started feeling like I was above them. I never got good at them. I never trained myself in them. I never forced myself to do them, and I acted and thought and felt like they were below me. And as a result, I treated my team like they were below me, and did not learn how to put the care into doing the mundane tasks. And just try, I didn't think this was what was happening. That's not the words that I used or how I felt at the time, but looking back, right now, I'm trying to learn how to embrace all the things with an equal amount of care and attention.
Yep.
And then bring in people to take over who are even better than me. But I'm trying to I'm trying to not delegate right now, specifically to like get good at doing quote unquote the dirty work, not negative dirty work, but like the hard stuff, the stuff that like is difficult, that I really don't want to do, that I wish I didn't have to do, that I wish somebody else would do. Like, why can't you enjoy doing those things, even if they are hard for you, even if they are outside of your skill set? Develop more appreciation for the task and for the people doing it.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. I think I'm probably very focused on delegation because it's something I've struggled with, if not even sucked at over the years.
Right. Well, a lot of people really suck at delegation. Like I haven't had a problem with it. No.
Yeah. Like I am embracing the fact of letting tasks go so I can get more shit done. Like for instance, it's like, this is fun. So I'm honestly wrestling with something right now. So I do need to create a front end sales letter for my low ticket offer. Sorry, there's a dog trying to escape. So I have to, I want to get that done. And it is a priority, but it's taking a back seat right now. So it's like, all right, how else can I get this done? I want to delegate this.
Okay, there are two ways.
Copywriters are not cheap. Go ahead.
Yes, they are. They're cheaper than they've ever been.
Okay.
So a couple things. One is that it is so easy so easy to program ChatGPT to write a killer sales letter for you.
Yep.
Step one, go get 1, 2, or 3 sales letters that you really like, copy and paste them right in, and get a link, to each one, and tell ChatGPT to read the whole thing. Right?
You can have you been able to do that? I've not been able to give ChatGPT a link. I have to copy everything.
I think that changed recently, but I've had to do both. So the answer is, do what you got to do, dude.
Keep talking. I have to go off camera for a second, but I'm right nearby.
All right, Rory's going off camera. So so it is very, very easy to educate the various AIs and ask them, on how to write a good sales letter, and ask them to write sales letters for you. Secondly, there are many AI agents that have already been built. A while ago, twice, maybe 3 times, Harris and I interviewed Jason Parker on the Tellman and Tellman show.
Yep.
And Jason is a copywriter. He worked with Matt Basak for a super long time, and he's doing tons of stuff with AI. He started a mastermind, and his mastermind, at least several months ago, cost $2,000 to join. And it was an AI agent mastermind. He was doing demos on podcasts and live streams of how it worked. And he just took the title. Yep. He took the title Automatic Abundance and plugged it into one of his AI agents that he had already spent the time educating how to write a complete AC style sales letter. And with just the title Automatic Abundance, in moments, it completely wrote an AC sales letter. So if you want to pay $2,000, you can join his or maybe more now. You can join his mastermind and get access to a pile of copywriting, very sophisticated AI agents.
Yeah.
So that's one. Another one is Kern just recently released a new piece of AI software called Ojoy, OJOY.ai. Mm-hmm. And I think it's $39 a month, and it takes voice prompts and writes shockingly good copy. So I haven't actually used that, but I have watched a demo or two. So I have a couple of AI agents that interestingly enough that Jody wrote. Jody has been shifting from, for everyone that doesn't know, Jody is my ex-wife. She's been shifting from writing copy to writing AI agents that write copy. And she's been creating AI agents for people. And so rather than writing sales letters, she's now creating artificial intelligence copywriters. And she has several AI agents. One, she may have one that would be good for writing sales letters. I have to check in with her on it. Okay. I would be surprised if she doesn't. So anyway, I've had ChatGPT write really good sales letters just by copying and pasting the original sales letters and then asking AI to do the rest, and then I just edit it. Arden says, honestly, I build my own AI stacks and delegate the work I need. If you need help, let me know. I don't really know that much about Arden's business, but he seems like a fairly successful internet marketer and perhaps social media influencer. I don't really know all the details of your business because we haven't had you on the show yet, Arden. Hopefully we will soon. Does that solve your problem, Rory? I mean, you said you had a problem you were wrestling with.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing. I don't have an excuse. I just need to do the AI.
Do the AI, Rory. Just do the fucking AI. That's all you need to do. Solve all your problems.
Yeah, okay. No, fuck it.
Are you not convinced?
No, I am convinced because I've written a sales letter before with AI. I don't know why I have been putting this off.
Because you're old.
Yeah.
No,
you're older than me, so
I know, but look, you see what I'm saying is like I don't know. I don't think to go to Chat GPT first. I still go to Google first. And I still catch myself asking questions, not even Googling something, realizing that it could be, so it's just, it's funny. I wonder about, I was asking my son if he's at all worried about AI taking away jobs in the future. He's like, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm curious. I'm curious what it's going to be like for our kids in the next round.
I'm more concerned about AI taking over and going full Skynet, or what was the shit in the Matrix? Like, I saw the Terminator, I saw the Matrix movies.
Well, that's totally going to happen. It's totally going to happen.
I saw iRobot. We these idiots, like when iRobot, like the actual company out of Boston, like started making those stupid dogs and robots. I'm like, did you people not fucking see the movies?
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
But that reminds me, you and I need to have a conversation, because I think this came up with Kurt. We need to have and it probably won't be an episode, but we need to have a conversation about this whole living in a simulation thing.
Mm-hmm. We are living in a simulation. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about it. I haven't studied it too much, but yeah, it's come up a few times. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to simulation conversation. However, I've been kind of resistant to, for example, creating marketing products about AI, because so many people have been for the last few years have been jumping on the bandwagon of blah 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 with AI, blah 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 with their AI, and just riding the temporary trend. Right, the temporary fad. I mean, the reality is AI is getting integrated with everything, and pretty soon it's not going to be special anymore.
Yeah.
But what I'm realizing, Rory, is that we have Get Shit Done, and Get Shit Done is all about productivity. And the fact of the matter is, AI, if nothing else, is an exceptional tool for increasing one's productivity.
It is
dramatically.
It is without a doubt.
And so, what if we created a suite of Get Shit Done tools that were AI driven, that are focused simply on increasing your productivity?
Let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Real simple, right? AI productivity tools. I bet we could sell a lot of AI productivity tools. Maybe I should go call Jason Parker.
Yes. Yes,
Let's
you
see.
should.
All right, guys. Rory, you want to do a commercial before we wrap up here?
Yes.
Great.
Get shit done and make better ads by going to brutallyhonestadreviews.com/GSD.
GSD.
Yeah. Let me show you how to create better ads.
Show me how to create better ads. We need to actually get some time scheduled to plan out what the fuck we're doing. The week is halfway over.
We do, but chances are it's going to be this weekend or early next week.
All right. Let me know what your earliest window or two, so we can get something on the calendar.
You got it, buddy. Sounds good.
Cool. So I'll see you tomorrow, but not on Friday.
Correct. And Laura Lee will be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. She'll be here at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
I'll see if I can get somebody else on Friday, or maybe I'll get an interview, or maybe I'll fly solo and do a hypnosis session or something. We'll see.
There you go. And then in the
meantime,
I
have all these people who want to be on the show now who raise their hand. What's up?
And I was going to say, in the meantime, make sure you go to workwithtellman.com, right?
Technically, I mean, it should be down by now, but it's technically still up. So yeah, don't go to workwithtellman.com unless you want to sign up for a live one-on-one hypnosis session, because I haven't redirected the page yet. I've been procrastinating on redirecting the page, but people keep signing up. No, I'm going to redirect that today. There are going to be some other options, but we're just about to close. Like that was supposed to be closed down on Sunday night, and technically it's still live. So you can still squeeze in a one-on-one hypnosis session at name your own price at workwithtellman.com for the next few hours. But then that's gonna change. You should go to getshitdone.com though, and join our Get Shit Done productivity community for entrepreneurs. It'll change your life. And we love interviewing people from our community on the show. So come join the community, get interviewed, get more productive. Everything is awesome. All right. That's all for now. Rory, what's up? What were you going to say?
You just said everything is awesome. I remember when I had to listen to that fucking song at the beginning of every one of our calls for a period of time.
I love that song.
Yeah, that needs to be our outro music.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
We'll get there.
I know.
This is called spontaneity. You're just gonna let the silence hold. You're not gonna fill it in with anything.
Nope. Sometimes silence is good. Embrace the silence, Tellman. There you go. Now, before we get in trouble and have copyright issues, let's bounce.
That's great. All right.
See you, buddy.
Goodbye, everyone.